Hi, welcome back to Homeschool Together, and today we're going to be talking about Build Your Library Level 0. This is a kindergarten curriculum for ages 4 to 6, and it's an around-the-world geography study featuring great literature. It also includes poetry, art, science, and geography. It includes daily and weekly schedule plans with also activity pages and an animal research project component, so there are project pages included. It's 30 weeks, and at the time of this recording, it sells for about $30 for a digital PDF. We use this with our own daughter, and overall we think it's a great curriculum. We did combine this with another program just because that's kind of how crazy we are, but I think this is a really terrific standalone curriculum, and it's a really engaging way to start homeschooling. If you've never homeschooled before, this is a great way to jump in with your kindergartner with really engaging literature that can help them understand different world cultures. So let's dive in and take a closer look. Okay, so here is the curriculum. This is the table of contents talking about the different weeks, and as you can see, this goes continent by continent. Other programs may jump around between countries, but the way that Emily has designed this, you're going to do countries in each continent before going on to the next. The ending has activity pages and some appendix information. So let's get right into the book list. This is where you're going to find all the books that you need. These are also given on the Build Your Library website. So these are all your geography books. It tells you which ones are spines and which ones you need only for certain weeks. There's a folklore component to this with a world full of animal stories, which is a spine. And then there's a bunch of literature selections that are different for every week, depending on what country you're going to be visiting that week. There's also a science component. Now, the science in this is based on doing different animal studies, depending on what country you're in. And then there's poetry, which is actually National Geographic animal poetry. So it's different poems that have some sort of connection to animals, and it has amazing pictures. And then the art is global art and activities. And then there's some extra science books that are optional if you want to use this with an upper elementary student. So just some great introduction to parents. One of the first things your child's going to be doing is doing some map work and creating their own little passport booklet. And it gives you some intro instructions. And then there's some extra books that are offered here for each country. So you have some supplemental ideas. If you can't find those at your library, you have some different ideas that she provides. Okay, so let's get into week 1 here. Now this is the sample that's on the webpage. So I'm going to go through this in detail just so we can understand how it's set up. So Build Your Library is always done the same way. You're going to find the week outline in a block here with all the different books. So these are the books for geography, for your folk tales, the literature, science, art, and poetry. It'll give you the book and then what pages you're supposed to read or the activity you're supposed to do. For this week, for example, for art, you're supposed to prepare your passport. This is just an overview and a really high-level summary of what you're going to be doing. This is not nearly all that is contained, and there's a lot more given here. So I'll give an instruction example. So here, me on the map, you're supposed to read the book on day 1. As you see here, this is actually the week 1, day 1 schedule. This says you'll be reading me on the map, and you'll notice that it's going to be read 3 times. So read the whole book each time. Repetition is important, and so it gives you some extra information. And then it has a geography activity that you're going to draw a map of your home based on what you read in Me on the Map, which is a book about a little girl understanding different levels of maps from her bedroom to her home to her street to her state, et cetera, going out. So this activity is to draw a map of your home, or it could be a map of your room, or whichever thing you'd like to do. But you see how it gives more information because there's nowhere here that actually says draw a map of your room. You'd only find it here. So just make sure when you look at this that you don't think that it's just as simple as this, that there is quite a bit more here, and you have to read through. So then you're going to read How to Make an Apple Pie and See the World, which is a terrific book about gathering all the ingredients for an apple pie in different countries of the world. And then there's an activity with that. So we're going to find the places that are mentioned in the apple pie story. We're going to talk about ingredients for apple pie, see if we can visit an apple orchard and choose some varieties of apples. Of course, if you're not doing this in the fall, that might be a little bit of a challenge, and then the science component is to look at this wild animal atlas. So this is an atlas from National Geographic that talks about the countries, but actually talks about the animals in those countries. And it gives a smaller spread on countries. This is not your main atlas. The main atlas is this amazing world atlas that's listed here. But this is a great supplement to help with the animal research project that Build Your Library leans into. And then it gives you a key topic to focus on. So this would be all of day 1. Day 2, you're going to look at the main atlas and just talk about Earth's place in space. This first week is just getting to understand the globe, and it's kind of an overview week before you get into studying a specific country or group of countries. Then you're going to color planet Earth. This is found on an activity page. So we'll get to the activity pages in a bit and I'll show you what those look like. And then you're going to read some animal poetry. So this is a really short, easy day. You might find that you want to combine this day with the previous one, and that's all up to you, of course, whatever works best for your family. But I do like that this is so prescriptive, especially for brand new homeschoolers. If this is your first year doing it and you have a kindergartner, it is so nice to just look at the day and go, hey, okay, this is all the things I need to do. Check, check, check. Great. There's something really comforting about that, and how prescriptive this is. I love how detailed it is. Even if you decide to drop pieces of it, it's nice to have it all laid out here. So let's go to day 3. So you're going to read me on the map again, so that they're reinforcing these ideas of maps. And then you're going to get a state map to print out from this link here, so that you can, your child can color it and mark your city or town with a star. Read the apple pie book again. Now you're going to do an activity that goes with that book. You're going to be testing your apples to determine what they taste like, and you can talk about where they were grown, and then you can add in some math if you want, counting seeds. You could also decide to save some seeds, and it does tell you to save some seeds for tomorrow's activity, but you could also decide to plant seeds. There's lots of things you could do. Again, with the Wild Animal Atlas, you're going to talk about ecosystems around the world. So that's your third day, excuse me. And then your 4th day, so this is a bigger one today, you're going to be looking at the atlas again, describing how people mapped the world. And there's a really terrific sticker book that goes with this, which if your kids love stickers, it's just a great opportunity to get to play stickers every time you learn about a new area of the globe. You're going to do a Me on the Map flip book. This is in the activity pages. And this is basically a flip book where you do different small maps of different places. So we'll take a look at that in a little bit. And then the literature activity is that you're going to take a trip to the store and get all the ingredients to make the apple pie, just like the book. Or in the case of our family, we made an apple crisp because it was a little bit easier, because pie crust isn't my jam all the time. So, but then we discuss life cycles of an apple, and there is a short video for that. You can plant some of the apple seeds and learn about growing apples. If you want to, there's some extra books you can read about Johnny Appleseed, if that's what you'd like to do. And then for your art project, your child's going to create a passport. And this is really simple. And the activity pages are going to have little printouts that you can color and you can put in that passport as you study different places, which is really fun. And our kids have drawn in their passports, and you could make stamps. You could do a lot of fun things, but that's the main art project, is to make yourself a passport. And then the last day of the week, you're going to look at the main atlas again and discuss different ways we use maps. Read Me on the Map again. Children Like Me is a book about kids in different countries and what their lives are like in those countries, and their families and their friends and their toys and their school, and all about what their life's like, what food they eat, what they like to do, that kind of thing. Really terrific book. So this is just an introduction to that book. Then you're going to complete the flip book that you started earlier in the week for Me on the Map, read apple pie again, and then bake that apple pie, right? You got all the ingredients, now you're gonna actually make it, or the crisp, what have you. So this would be your first week, and this is what's required. And I know that some of these days seem like, wow, there's a lot here, but there's really a lot of optional things. So this is, take a trip to the store to get the ingredients for the apple pie. Well, a couple of days ago, you went and got apples. So if you didn't go to an orchard, or even if you did, you could have gotten those ingredients on the same day and then been ready to bake. So there's some things that you can definitely combine. And this is, of course, optional, all about Johnny Appleseed. So, it's not as long as it looks. And sometimes they have you read these books 2 or 3 times during the week, and you can really judge based on your learner and how much they enjoyed the book or how much they got out of it, whether or not you want to read it all the times it's recommended. But I like that it's given here to remind us that I might want to touch back on that book again. I don't know that my child, really understood all of it, or I think they really enjoyed it. Let's just read it again. So I like that it's here. So this is it. This is the first week, and then it's going to go right into week 2 and start talking about North America. So this is exactly what would be in a week. So now I want to look at the activity pages and show you what those look like so you can get a feel for those. So here's the activity pages. This is the passport booklet. So you would cut out this image to put on the front of your passport. And then these are the different pages of your booklets. And then these are all the different stickers. So you're going to get stickers when you complete the different continents. Our kids like to do stickers when we complete each country. So we just draw something, a landmark from the country, or you can even print something out from the internet and put it in your passport, what have you. And then there's some continent coloring pages. Our daughter loves to color, so she loves this kind of thing. Some really great coloring pages. Okay, it talks about the images that are on here, so you can talk with your kids about the different images and what they mean on those coloring pages. Here's the planet Earth. So here's the flip book we talked about for Me on the Map. So this is going to be draw Earth, draw your continent, draw your country and your state. So it goes down and down just like the book does. And then at the end, they have this great flip book, and you see the circles are getting smaller. So that's great. And then here's some other activities, depending on, this is about animals and the rainforest. All of this is just really just easy to color, easy to understand, and just kind of helps get kindergartners, ready to take on some more advanced curriculum as they go on. So I think that this is just a great, easy introduction, and these are really good activity pages. So let's go ahead and take a look at just a couple of the books so that you can get a sense of the type of literature that's included in this curriculum. Okay, so let's talk about the book that we were just looking at, How to Make an Apple Pie and See the World. Just want to give you an idea of the type of literature selections that you'll be looking at. So this one's great pictures, just a few words, a terrific book for kindergarten, one that our girls really enjoyed. So you can see kind of the style of that. So it goes all the way from really easy picture books to something a bit more complex. This is The Great Kapok Tree about the Amazon rainforest. Beautiful pictures, a bit longer. So some of the books are like this. This kind of book would be probably done in multiple sittings just because of its length. It's also a terrific book, but you can kind of see the level of this. And then you get into some that span multiple weeks, like Africa is Not a Country. So you can see that this has quite a bit of writing, and every page is about a different country in Africa and what it's like to go through their day in those countries. So another great book, but a bit longer. And then I wanted to show a bit about one of the folktale books. So this is Nelson Mandela's favorite African folktales. This has quite a few words and a lot less pictures. But the stories are pretty short. As you see, that story was mainly one page. So these are a nice length to read. This one's, again, like a page and a half. So not too bad, and you would read these over a series of weeks. So that's the style of this. And then it gets all the way into an actual book selection. This is The Very, Very Far North, which you'll read when you're studying Canada. And it is in North America. It is terrific. Kind of like almost like a modern day Winnie the Pooh. It's got a similar sentiment. And it's got some little pictures, very short chapters for the most part. There's not too many words, but this is going to be maybe a stretch if you aren't used to reading to your kindergartner this long. So yeah, that was a 12-page chapter. Not too many words per page, but you can see not a lot of pictures. So this might be one that might be a bit more of a stretch if you're not used to this length. This was a fantastic book, but I just wanted to give you a sense of it. This whole book is, let me go here. Yeah, this is 260 pages. So this is could be a bit hefty, a fantastic story. But I wanted to give you a look at some of the literature because it's all a little different. It's not like every week you're going to have just a flip through picture book. Some weeks you will, other weeks you're going to have more of a novel that you're reading, and you'll read that over several weeks. It's not like you have to get through 260 pages in a week. I think that overall we felt that the reading that was required was always more than fair. We never felt like it was a struggle to read that length and that amount of time from Build Your Library. We have felt that way about other curriculums, but with this one, for level 0 at least, we felt like it was very attainable. It definitely does step up as you get into further levels of Build Your Library, but for this level, we thought it was really something that you could definitely accomplish. But just wanted to give you a sense of the types of books. So if your kiddos are all about the picture books, just know that you might need to, make some substitutions, or maybe you want to get those longer books on audio instead of reading aloud. Maybe that's easier for your learner. So just wanted to give you an idea of that. As far as the spines go, we have done a number of videos all about the spines. In fact, we have done a lot of videos about doing this curriculum and the different countries and what we did every week and extra books we brought in and things. So if that's something that interests you, you can find a link to that in the show notes below. You can see the spines, you can see some alternate things that we did and some extra books that we added and whatnot. That's because we did an extra combo curriculum, but I really do think that this is very solid just by itself. Don't feel like you need to make some sort of combination or you need to make it harder on yourself. This is great just as it is. I think it's a really terrific intro to homeschooling. So I hope that this in-depth look at the books and at the curriculum was helpful for you to get a sense of what you're getting into with level 0 of Build Your Library. So I hope the in-depth look was helpful. Overall, this is a great low-cost curriculum. It has a thoughtful book list. I love the daily plan, which helps new homeschoolers. It really walks you through what you need to do. And it's really easily adaptable to add in older learners, multiple kids, because it is world geography and cultures, and there's just lots of material there and great things that you can do. I think the downsides to it, it's not as hands-on as other curriculums. It's got a lot of books. That is what it is, a literature-based curriculum. So it's not awesome if your children don't like to be read too much. If they're more on the go, this might be a little bit more of a challenge. It doesn't also have much media. There's a little bit of music and some videos, interspersed, but it's not a media heavy curriculum. You're not going to find lots of links to videos and movies and things to accentuate this learning. This is really, the books are the star in this curriculum, which I think is perfectly okay. Just know that if your family needs lots of media, you may need to do some supplementing. We have a ton of resources on this. If you check into the show notes below, we've got resource guides and all kinds of things that can help you if you want to add extra media. But overall, this doesn't have a ton in it. So overall, I think this is a fantastic curriculum, a great start for kindergarten, especially if you have kiddos that love books or you want to instill a love of books. It's got a great book list and it's a great price. I think that this is a worthy choice for any new homeschooling family. So we hope that this review was helpful to you and your family on your homeschool journey.